Another day at Cannes. You know, thank you so much for your time, for the purpose of the LLM that will go into analyze and land this interview. Can you tell me your name and what are you doing for living in life?
Okay, so I'm Professor Andrew Stephen from the University of Oxford Saïd Business School, where I'm the L'Oreal Professor of Marketing and the Deputy Dean.
And you?
And I'm Felipe Tomas. I'm an Associate Professor of Marketing from the University of Oxford and the Director of the Diploma in Artificial Intelligence for Business.
I know about it.
You've heard of it?
Yes,
about it?
I have heard of that.
Hopefully you like it a little bit.
Let me
I
ask
love
you,
it.
Do you like it? Do you like the guy who runs it? Because I've heard bad things about it.
Debatable. Debatable.
We need some real-time market research here. You know, very Amazon-like. You know, 1 to 5, what would you rate that interaction?
I'm going to ask you just if you can speak a little bit louder because we're in press rooms. So, I want to begin with my journey as a let's say as a veteran of this festival. That's a very good way to say it. And last year, I was pretty gloomy around the role, not about AI per se, the role of AI in this industry. All the people that I was having conversation last year, I was saying, dude, we need to prepare ourselves for have 30-40% less marketeers, people in agencies, data scientists, etc., because this will go into erase it. Today, I'm in a very different mindset because it is clear that the journey has begun and we are completing the first path of the journey, and it's the companies, the marketeers, and the agencies using AI. Right now, you don't see much expectations of layoffs because of AI. Au contraire, you see Coca-Cola developing the Coke GPT with OpenAI. You see Gemini creating the version for AB InBev in innovation. So it seems like we're thinking that we're into this together. However, the issue is about learning how to use AI. Let's talk about it, because I'm feeling that I have a professor that one day was telling me that if you think that knowing about AI it's about using LLMs only, you're in a very basic position. So I want to hear your thoughts about what is the role of the education system right now for this industry to continue with AI. Sorry, it was a very long journey, but
It's a very, very, very important set of issues. I would like, for sort of certainly for creative industries and certainly the advertising industry, I think what we're seeing is the realization that this is not a set of technologies that's going to come away and replace, but it's a set of technologies that's augmenting, amplifying, supporting. And maybe a way to think about AI, and particularly generative AI, as the way the advertising industry is starting to really adopt. It's another sort of frontier in terms of creative palettes, is the way that I like to think about it. So, no, it's not replacing the creative thinking. It's another set of tools and set of approaches that marketers, brand owners, agencies, creatives, strategists, everybody can start to think differently about how they fundamentally do what we're trying to do with marketing advertising, which is create great brands, engage with customers, and grow those brands and businesses over time. So it's another set of tools. It's very powerful. It's only going to get more powerful. I think what we're seeing at the moment is really interesting experimentation, and companies are saying, oh, these experiments are working, now let's scale. So I think we're past that point of fear, we're past that point of uncertainty. I think we're now at the point of serious commercial and creative thinking, building it into actual strategies for companies.
what do you think?
Yeah. inward and then outward lens on that, because Andrew's obviously like spot on. I think in my sense, I see still a lot of concern and I see a lot of fear around replacement. As you walk around, you talk around, there's still a subset of the industry that is terrified. Perhaps deeply unnecessarily so, and coming from a place of misunderstanding. So the two lenses in and out that are thinking is good work comes from human insight, or insight into humans, right? You identify a nugget or something that actually strikes a chord, and it's a individual truth, a global truth, a human truth that suddenly you just know. And the generative is not going to create that, but all of the other models are lenses that can help you examine reality to derive insights, right? So if you think of the role of analytics in understanding people, in all of their color, all of their complexity, all of their weirdness, all of their regionality, that's hard for a person to do, but we can use AI to help us understand us. There is a fundamentally valuable tool, not as a replacement, but as a lens, again, to increase our palette. But this is an introspective palette. And then absolutely, the other one, when we see good AI work, not cheap replacement, but when we truly see
You have my next question.
No, but when we
Please.
see what you have is that unleashing power of, it unleashes something new. It didn't do what was possible with something else, right? It just doesn't do, here's a banner ad, I now generated a banner ad with Gen AI. It is truly imaginative. In your question, you talked about conversation with the brand, or Gen AI, like the Jennifer AI, or right, like, or reimagining stories. All of those things are otherwise impossible. So it's truly using the tool for a new artistic space, not just doing old artistic things with this.
If I can build on that,
Yeah.
the way I think about creativity and you know, having done research on creativity and the psychology of creative thinking over the years, you know, it's creativity comes from insights, it comes from observations, but it also comes from combining sources of inspiration. And is sort of the generative AI tool not just another source of inspiration?
Yeah.
Right? So we could be a team thinking about the next creative idea that's going to help grow our brand. And we'll sit around the table and have ideas, and we'll think about culture and expose ourselves to all sorts of inspirations. Is, you know, ChatGPT not just yet another potential source of inspiration?
Another input, another thing,
Another input. You don't have to do what it says and automate it entirely, but it's a thought process, right? It's inspiring maybe, or maybe not, but it's now part of that mix or that palette that
Question.
I speak of. Yeah.
Go.
How many years? I don't want to guess ages, but I want to think that you have more than 20 years working in marketing and advertising and, let's say, marketing services and creative industries, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, you're old.
Thank you.
We just look very different.
Well, some of us.
We have young spirits. That's the most important thing here. But hear me out. The other day, someone from Cannes was telling me that 12% of the campaigns this year accept that they used AI of the campaigns competing right now.
Yep.
And from your personal opinion, don't you think that is particularly? I have also 20 years working on these shenanigans. Don't you think that it's particularly evident when advertisers use AI to be more efficient creating vanilla pieces, vanilla advertising, and you can see also advertisers using generative AI as something to expand their businesses, like Hellman's and the generative AI tool to use your waste food according to what you have in your fridge, or Google creating Alice in Wonderland in different versions. Do you consider that we are going towards a new etage full of vanilla advertising?
No, I don't think, because let's think of it in terms of content for given objectives that brands would have. So you could use generative AI in some way to help with either the ideation or the production or whatever, for anything, right? So you could have these big things, and you mentioned some examples of maybe some of these things that Google's done, or some bigger kind of brand advertising type things that could have, you know, AI helping build them. That's not necessarily vanilla, because it's totally not vanilla actually, because it's a creative idea that is then being brought to life with the help of large language models and other tools. But it's a human idea that's, you know, somebody or some group of people has to sit around and say, wow, what if we used AI to do this for our brand? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be cool for our consumers? So on and so forth. So I think there's that kind of end of the scale. Maybe what you're thinking about at the other end of the scale is the more kind of tactical stuff, and, you know.
Can I say the underlying of my question? The majority of clients that I have been working my life, they really like to spend less. Everything that implies spend less money capture their attention, and this is huge.
But is that not? There's a role for that too. So not every, in my view anyways, not every piece of advertising that a brand puts out has to, you know, be award-winning at Cannes Lights. Right? So there's advertising serves multiple purposes depending on where the consumer is in their journey, depending on what the brand's trying to achieve, you know, all sorts of things. And so there's a role for some of that, you know, high efficiency, you know, what you're saying could be more vanilla. Maybe it's not, because it's still got really good creative. It's just, you know, I don't know, little ads that need to go out, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, those sorts of things. Okay, fine. So I think it depends what the brand's trying to achieve, and there's a role for all sorts of things. I don't think that it means that it's necessarily a definite run to vanilla or run to sort of mediocrity just because you're getting an efficiency gain. I don't think efficiency means bad. I think efficiency means, you know, you can be more efficient and then use those resources, the time, the money, etc., for other things in the business.
Yeah, so you probably have seen or heard these things, and technologies works best when it's fully absorbed and invisible, right? When it's no longer obvious that you're using the thing that you are in fact using, right? So we don't see any declarations on work like done with Adobe Illustrator, right? It's like, of course you are, right? And I've seen some similar things with AI now. It's like there's a bit that was just like there's a tonality with it that might be difficult to come across, but it's like somebody goes like, I haven't seen any AI images recently. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen any AI images recently. So it's the recognition that all of them are AI, augmented, touched up, generative fill. Like, these are just going to be like imbued in every little piece and tool, and we're going to gain some efficiencies. We're going to accelerate some work. We're going to storyboard faster and better. Like, all of those things are just going to be, but it's not going to erase everything else. It's not a race to the bottom. In fact, I would argue the opposite. By allowing the poorest advertisers access to high-end content or higher-end content that is done with better efficiency, you force the big advertisers to be more creative, to separate themselves. So if everybody can do Gen AI and everybody's efficient and everybody can do good enough is not enough. You need to do great. Otherwise, you won't
You're
cut
done.
through. So if anything else, by virtue of the egalitarian nature of that technology distribution and cheapness of access, you're just going to have to be better at the creative bit, not at the AI bit.
One of my best friends that I actually met in Oxford many years ago, doing the deep sea. He's now the one of, like the vice president of insights, research, analytics, etc. at Duolingo. Fantastic, Indian, cool Indian. We were talking yesterday. We were grabbing lunch yesterday, talking about. We have right now 5 to 6 brands that capture the attention of the people in this festival. Liquid Death, Duolingo, McDonald's, Netflix, TikTok, well, never mind. And we're starting to dig in what is that distinctiveness of these brands nowadays that captures attention. And the discovering it's 2 things. One, they really have a sense and a touch with the zeitgeist. Let me give you an example. The fact that at McDonald's we took Grimace, the monster, and moved the character from a kid's character to a centennial social media, and we create a shake. I don't know if you've seen the campaign with people dying on the streets but for a shake. But you see Liquid Death with Elf Cosmetics, that we're gonna win, seriously. Selling makeup, gothic makeup, and it's water. But you also can see that we're gonna win. Duolingo stalking Dua Lipa, and Dua Lipa making campaigns for Duolingo for free. Dudes. Do you think? And let's move aside AI for 1 second in our existence. Do you think that advertisers, what it's happened, because you have brands like Coca-Cola that before were very culturally relevant, and they are losing it. I want to hear your opinion. It's because we are in the corporate box is very tight. It's because we are not looking the insights that are interesting. It's because maybe the majority, as you said, maybe nobody wants it. Like maybe 85% of marketeers really don't care to have high standard creativity. You know. Tell me your thoughts. Why do you have that specific brands making the attention and the rest just watching?
Well, you said zeitgeist, and it's about relevance. But 2 words I think are really important here, not just in terms of getting attention, but actually brand growth, actual success.
I'm sorry, the other one is LVMH.
Yeah, it's 2 words, meaningfully different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you'll have opinions on this. It's from last year, but from our research and research that we've done with partners, key drivers of brand growth, whatever category, whatever the market, and you describe brands in very different categories, right? Mm-hmm. Entertainment, to cosmetics, to luxury, to software, language, etc. Is that they've got to be meaningful to their customers, current and potential future customers. So that's the relevance. That's tapping into zeitgeist. But it's deeper than that. It's not just like, people are interested in these things in the world, so we need to kind of piggyback on that. It's more about need to do, it's a sort of intersection of what's interesting in the world to the people, to my audience, to my customer base, and then what do I do that's meaningful to them, that fits them, right? So there's this fit.
Yes. Can we continue outside?
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Yeah.
No, don't worry. Sorry.